Hey, what's up, party people? It's your man, Fernando G, once again with another edition of DJ to DJ, the podcast. And of course, those of you that are watching, if you like this podcast, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified each and every time I get another amazing talent on like today. We're going to flash back and have some fun to my radio days with my ex-colleague, mi colega, el mero pachanguero, my brother, Alex Tercero in the house. What's up, brother? ¿Cómo estás?
You doing? Fernando G in the place to be. Man, pleasure to be here, bro. It's been a long time since, we last saw each other, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a promotion you were doing for a company that you were doing.
Sony.
Geez, Sony, there you go.
Yeah, we were doing the Sony promotions, and I was one of the brand ambassadors, and we were taking PA systems and stuff.
Yes.
And we were working there. And then I think the actual last time I saw you, I think was at a Café Tacuba concert where we ran into each other.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
just a quick hello, and that was it, man.
Well, yeah, it's amazing how, life just throws you in different directions. And, we get older, we get more responsibilities, we get married, we have kids, we have family. But, like you said, let's go way back. Back into time. So as always, we're going to start from your origins of when you discovered the art of DJing and how you learned to do the beat mixing and where that took you, how you got into radio. And then, of course, we're going to hit into something a little more personal a little later on and get into that. But right now, let's start off with your origins of the DJ world. ¿Cómo comenzaste? What we're going to do right here is go way back. We're going back into the 1980s, man. I grew up in Compton. Right. I grew up in Compton. As a matter of fact, I went to elementary school with DJ Quick and him. Yeah, so we're from the same neighborhood.
Right.
I grew up in the 80s in Compton, so it was full with music, man. I mean, it's amazing because, you remember back in the days, the Suzukis and the big loud cars that used to, pump the music. Back in the days, we used to have during lunch, we used to have KDAY, right? K-Day, the real, the
original, the OG K-Day,
right? Yeah.
1580 K-Day.
Yeah, the mix masters and everybody, So they used to go during lunch, man, and I used to be like, man, look at that. Because I used to see, the whole DJing I was relating that to, Beat Street and, I used to listen to the Mix Master Show and KDY, and I was like, man, I love music. I always loved music. I always had the passion for music. So after that, I think it was in Compton High where I met DJ Alex from NWA.
Okay.
Yeah. He used to DJ there during lunchtime, and I had a talk with him, man. And I was like, yo, man, I want to get into DJs. How do I do it, man? Well, what's the first thing that I have to do to buy, man? And he's like, yo, man, go over there to Paramount Swap Me or the Rhodium and get yourself some turntables. And I was like, all right. So I went and I bought some $10 turntables, bro. They didn't know, right?
Right.
I'm like, all right. So I bought some direct drive, man, the really
belt driven.
Yes. I had no idea. I bought this Octopus. Remember the brand Octopus?
Oh my god,
it was a mix.
Yeah.
So I bought that for like, I don't know, $30, $50. Everything was cheap, no money, right? Young. I had to ask my dad and my mom for money, and my brothers and I, we went over there. We bought ourselves 2 turntables. They didn't work, man. We're like, what the hell? I'm trying to scratch. I'm trying to do this. And the needle would go. I was like, and it was hard I was like, all right, no, this is not going to work. The next time, Yella went back to play in the Compton High, I told him, hey, man, I bought some. No. You got to get some, techniques. But when I saw the price on those things, I was like, man.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to, man. I'm like, man, I'm in high school, right? And I'm like, 9th grade. And I'm like, man, all right. So I got to go work on summertime. And I'm already calculating, right? I'm like, yeah, I might have to tell my brother to give me a job where he works at. And yeah, I told him, he set me up for, summertime. I got myself, one technique and then two, and then they pitched in and started playing with the quinceañeras and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, house parties with the family, bloom bloom. Then after that, just house parties and became part of the crew. And then I got into trouble in Compton. I had to move to Southgate.
Órale.
So from Southgate, I met Eddie Zane from Z-Graph. I met him on the school bus because they used to bus us to Pacific Palisades, and I met him because he used to do graffiti, and I was like, oh man, this is dope. He's like, yeah, man, I'm a graffiti writer. I belong to a graffiti crew, and I'm like, yeah, but I also do. I'm a dancer and I'm a party crew, and I'm like, really? Hey, I'm a DJ, man. Do you need any DJ? Yeah, come down to a house party. And after that, I went over and we started. I took some records. I don't even know what kind of records, hip house or something like that.
I think some old school stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, and then I became part of that party crew, man. It was the Uncomparables, and cool. It was Lenny V. We had DJ Flash, and it was a cool party crew that actually gave me the really solid, stepping stone into the world DJing, and right. The who was out there, and you already had the Cesar Dineros and the Joe Heavens, they were big,
Yeah, they were doing all the big stuff, yeah, big halls and everything, all the big promotions.
So that's how it started, man. I think the Uncomparables being part of Southgate, and with the whole hip hop behind me from Compton, meeting some of the NWA crew, and I met the first time that I ever met somebody doing beats, man, was in Compton. It was DJ Dance a Lot.
Oh, wow.
He used to do the beats for Mixmaster Spade, which was one of the very first, and Toddy T. Yeah, it was Toddy T and King T. Bass. Yeah. So that, all that got me into more passion into, being a DJ.
More immersed,
and whatnot. And I bought everything, man. I mean, from hip hop and to cumbias and rancheras, everything that, was coming in through this year. I was like, man, if I like it, boom, I would go out and buy it. But I think the really solid stepping stone was Southgate High, the party crew, Uncomparables. That was like,
launched you into it, man. That's awesome. Do you remember what it was like when you first started learning to beat mix, to actually matching the beats? Do you remember how you discovered that?
Yeah, it was a DJ from Orange County. He was like famous, man. His name was DJ Dreamboy. He was like known. There was a big scene back in the disco days and all that in the 80s. Yeah. And my cousins who live in Midway City and Westminster, we used to go party over there too. Mm-hmm. And my cousin Grace started dating this DJ, man. And I was like, man, hey man, I got this turntables and I don't know how to mix. And he started telling me, hey man, and I never really got really good at, hasta que, you practice so much and all that. But, I was more of I think music selector, Yeah. I was, I tried scratching and all that. And I just, man, it's an art, man.
It's addictive too, right? And then when you start getting those first mixes right on beat, you're like, oh, damn. It's like,
I'm about to write it.
Yeah.
How long can I write it for? And then you read for like minutes and then a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Oh yeah.
Exactly. And back in the day, it's not like today with controllers and stuff where you can edit the songs on the fly and put cue points and stuff. Back in the day, we had to use records, man. So we had to wait for those breaks, or we had to kind of figure out how to cut the song short and mix it, to where it sounded smooth. It wasn't like today. I mean, DJs today have got it easy compared to when you and I started, man. It was a big,
man, that's
different
incredible
game now.
Yeah, you're right. The technology right now is like little kids or anybody can jump on and put the sync button, mix,
And that's it.
But it's an art, man. I think DJing is, especially. I mean, if you're talking about battle DJs, and you got all kinds of different DJs, right?
Yeah.
And it's incredible, man, to see the art.
Yeah. I had DJ Qbert on, man. And that guy, man, oh, dude. I mean, talk about the fastest fingers in the West, bro. I mean, just, and he's just like, and he comes up with some crazy stuff, dude. I saw this one video of him doing this thing with Planet Rock, and it just like, he cut it up so clean, and it was just so amazing. He actually remade the song live, and it was
Man,
just incredible, dude. That's
yeah,
just talent, man.
Qbert became one of the most infamous, no, battle DJs at the time. Remember, I think he won a bunch of DMC battles and whatnot. But yeah, DJ Qbert, he's like the veterano of the battle DJs, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of friends que me mandan, sometimes they send me videos from Red Bull and battle DJ, and it's incredible, bro. The things they do is like, are you producing or are you DJing, man?
Right? Yeah.
Like, whoa, is this a new boom, bop, bop, messing around with buttons and keyboards and I don't know what. I'm like, oh, what happened to the only two turntables,
Right. That's it. Two turntables and a microphone, remember?
Two turntables and a microphone.
That was it.
You got all kinds of gadgets, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's incredible.
I don't even know your name.
Right? It's like, it's not even funny, man. So let's start moving a little forward here. You're DJing. How does that transition into radio? How did you start getting into, on air and becoming an on-air radio personality?
Man, from being, I grew up in LA. Right. I grew up in SoCal. I'm a SoCal guy. And suddenly I have some cousins that are coming from Mexico, and I had a couple of friends that were from the neighborhood. They started, coming from different parts, Central America, Sudamerica, and they started bringing all kinds of rock en español, prisioneros and all that. I was like, wow, this is like new wave, right? New wave, English new wave, but in español. And I was like, this is cool, man. And I started digging more and watching all kinds of Daisy Fuentes with what was it, MTV and Telemundo.
Yep.
Remember that? And then we started hunting. I started hunting my brothers and I for CDs at the time and their records. And then after that, I started playing at clubs. And I started this little collection of records. And then I started building my rock en español. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was La Cama, bro. La Cama Grand Avenue, the Shark Club.
Yeah,
was the stepping stone, el trampolín, for. I started meeting all kinds of people from the industry. At the time, it was only Caleb.
Right.
So I started meeting all the Caleb people, Martha Shahub, the Channel 34 people, and I was like, man, this, and I used to grab the microphone and do my thing, and after a while, people started telling me, man, me llegaron 2-3 personas and dijeron, hey, man, if there's ever a radio station in español, the rock pop in español, you got to be there. And I'm like, damn, and something clicked, man. And I'm like, and at the time, there was a maestro de maestros, from radio. Like, he was a legend for being one of the first locutores right here from Spanish radio. That your dad, que en paz descanse, era su paisano, El Gato Viudo, bro.
Oh, yeah,
Holy moly. He was like the first big celebrity DJ locutor from Spanish radio, from, I think it was KTNQ or I don't remember. Yeah. My sister used to listen to a lot. So I met him and I told him, I go, hey, since you've been in the radio, I mean, what can you give me? Un consejo. They said, no, just, haz lo que tienes que hacer, do what you got to do on the microphone, get your own personality. Marta Shahub gave me some, consejitos here and there, some tips. And then I enrolled myself into Pasadena City College because I heard that they had the best.
Yeah, the radio program.
So I did it. And I was like, we're talking about what, 1992? I was already in the Shark Club, Grand Avenue, La Cama was booming. we were having everybody, Caifanes and all kinds of
Yeah.
people. And then Tomas Cookman came over.
Thomas Cookman.
Yeah, man. He came over. I met all kinds of people. And then Tomas Cookman came over and he's like, hey, man, I'm looking for uh, a DJ, man, for a radio show. And I'm like, ooh, this is it.
Wow, stars are lining up.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, but my Spanish is horrible, man. And I'm like, I gotta, start practicing more reading. And then he took me to a studio because he had a project to do a syndicated show.
Nice.
1992, man. And he took me to a studio and I recorded a little sample. And he's like, yo, man, yeah, you're gonna have to practice a lot of Spanish, bro. Read a lot. And I'm like,
you and I had the same problem, bro, because when I got started in my radio career, I was coming from Power 106 and my whole thing was English. And even though I spoke Spanish the majority of my life, it was still very pocho, So the same thing, man. I had to learn to grow into it, and thankfully, later on in life, my Spanish got a whole lot better. But the exact same thing, bro. I was like, I gotta read. My dad would always tell me, "Ponte a leer," remember my dad? He had that deep Darth Vader voice. You know what I mean?
man.
And he would tell me, "You want to do it in Spanish? You have to read out loud, do this, do that." But it was like took me a little while, but I sounded funny when I first started.
Yeah, you had somebody like, that was he was there, man. Your dad was, a voice on que todo el mundo lo reconocía every time, bro. I remember, and I mean, he's part of the legends of the radio and voice.
OG Spanish radio.
Oh man,
yeah, from back in the days. I mean, he got here in the '60s. He obviously had to start, from the bottom because he actually started his career at the age of 15 in Honduras.
Wow.
Okay, so he was already over there. He was a celebrity over there. But then he said, I got to go to the U.S., comes over here, goes to the radio station. I'm Antonio Gonzalez from Honduras. They're all like, so? It's like, and he goes and he started off as a dishwasher working in factories until he got into KWKW. And Teddy Fregoso, I don't know if you remember Teddy Fregoso, was the man that gave him his first shot. And he started KWKW. And then the rest is history, man.
Crazy, man. Yeah, it's part of it. I mean, being part of a radio or being part of the whole industry, man, is just, it's mind blowing, bro. I mean, when we got into radio, I mean, we had a chance to work together, bro. And, I mean, it went from, we did a little show, Marta Shahub. So Marta Shahub happens to go a lot, to the Grand Avenue. And my padrino, that I call him my padrino, Don Roberto Rivera, que paisano también, en paz descanse, he was the one that actually gave me the opportunity. He's like, you know what? I listen to you all the time. And I say, who's that talking right there? Oh, that's our DJ, Alex Tercero. I'm going to do a show and I'm going to give him a chance. And I'm going to have Marta Shahub and Shelly Shahub, the daughter of Marta Shahub. And we're going to do a show, a Rock en Español show on Radio Cali, AM, right?
Yeah.
Which it was Radio Cali that El Gato Beauty was from. Yeah. So he bought some time there. And that was my first radio station. Like, this is crazy, man. Real
I
to
didn't
real.
know that you and Marta worked together. This is the first I heard that. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's how you got started.
Man, the little studio was right there on Melrose, right in front of Mario's.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the studio was close from right there, like really close. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. The studio was like, they had, it was like back in the 1970s, man. I don't know when it started, but they had the reel-to-reels, the 8-tracks that, to put the commercials. Yeah. And Marta's like, oh, well, this is all technology, but it's gonna work. I'm gonna teach you the stepping stones of this, the little tips that radio have, Y de repente, we lasted, what was it, like a year, bro, or half a year. Tercera Dimensión, it was called. Okay. And then from like there came Ritmo with Hector Rossetti.
Yeah.
With Adrian
Lopez.
Oof, he was the creator of Caleb, right?
Yeah, yeah. He was the original program director. I got lucky. I got to work with him. I worked in promotions after I left Power 106. I went to Caleb, and he that was the first
Really?
time that I started hearing like rock and pop, and like he had like Mercosur. He was spinning Mercosur on the air, viceversa. Magneto and all those kind of like more pop
Miguel
stuff. And
Mateo.
then little by
Yeah.
little, he started working the rock en español. And when he went to Ritmo is when he busted out with all the crazy rock en español, and that's where it just started to take off, man.
Oh yeah, no man. I had a chance to work with Adrian Lopez. It was his last wish because he had stomach cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And dijo, che, mi último deseo es esto, de ver una estación en Estados Unidos que sea de rock pop en español. Ese es mi deseo. That's my dream, is to have the first rock pop radio station in the whole nation. He did it, man.
Yeah.
He did it. It was amazing. He came in with all the energy in the world, and he convinced the owner. He told him there's a market for this. And Humberto, I forget his name, was the one of the owners from Ritmo, El Dorado
El
Communications.
Dorado Communications, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Humberto, they got together and they decided to turn it, right? Because we had I started the weekend with Jerry Cardoso and Armando Cosilion, Armando Scándalos.
Armando Scándalos, yeah.
Before it became Ritmo, we had La Cuna del Rock on the weekend. Yeah. And that, gave a little leverage to, because it was already testing the waters in an FM radio station, man.
Yeah.
So, that was amazing, man. And thanks to Lafitte Benitez was the one that, he was the
legend
one,
in the record label business, man.
Yeah, he was working at BMG, and, I was todo crudo and desvelado de cama, bro. Or working on Sunday. He calls me up. He's like, Alex, yeah, early in the morning. Early for me was like 10, right? DJs, 11. Hey, man, can you come down right now? I have a job for you in the radio. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. They want to do a show. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, yeah. What? Oh, yeah, I can be there like in an hour. And it was, Ritmo was at the same building, at the CNN building, right there in Sunset Boulevard. And I went there and I was like, oh, this is crazy. This is amazing. CNN building. The door opens. Guess who's there? Larry King and Arnold Schwarzenegger. My first. And I'm like, Larry King, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm like, what? This is crazy, man.
Oh, shoot.
And I'm like, where am I stepping into, So I went in. I go up. And I was like, Priority Records and all kinds of offices. And I'm like, this is amazing. So that was like the first corporate, like, this is great. Yeah. So I walked in, I met Jerry Cardoso, and Armando was there, and Humberto, and they started telling me about the music and all this, and boom, you know what? Yeah, you got the job. And I'm like, whoa.
That's awesome.
Man. So I left Grand Avenue, which I was DJing there from Thursday to Sunday. And I left Saturdays because I was there. I think we were doing Saturdays, La Cuna del Rock.
La Cuna del Rock was Saturday night. Yeah, because that's when I discovered Alex Tercero. That was the first time, because I was doing Pappy's Nightclub with my brother Marco. And we were doing the Rock en Español thing there. And then Pappy, the owner, and my brother, they say, hey, let's do a Rock en Español show. And they ended up buying time on 106.3, which was all Korean during the day. And then Saturday nights we went to Rock en Español. And we ended up calling it La Onda. And so we were going head to head with you guys.
Yes.
And that was the birth of when, I don't like taking credit for it, because there were DJs before me that were doing Rock en Español. But I think what you guys were doing and what we were doing was what kind of helped elevate the movement in Los Angeles for Rock en Español. It opened the doorways to bigger opportunities, which I think is what helped, Super Estrella launch its stores. They definitely saw that there was an opportunity there. Adrian, like we said, rest in peace, was the innovator of it, and then it took off from there. So it was exciting to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. I think to have a visionary like Adrian Lopez open the door for the big market. The FM radio was a big, but like you said, there was already a scene, a rock en español scene with the Club Rock en Español and the Cinco Mosqueteros and
Yeah.
all these promoters and all these bands, the Maria Fatahs, Ley de Hielos. I mean, there was a little small scene and they were doing their stuff.
Yeah.
And everything combined. I mean, you were part of it, I was part of it. So everything together became a bigger scene, and then it started blowing up more. So, the Retilas, the Banda Elásticas, everything helped to come together and make a scene with everything. I mean, now you got 2 shows on Saturday. That means, there's something here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think competition is good because then it helps the anything grow.
The creativity. It helps grow the creativity. You gotta be more creative than the other guy. What are they doing? Now, I remember because my brother Marco goes because when we started La Onda, we actually started with this guy that he hired from a Riverside radio station. I was just doing the mixing. But it was funny because remember we flyered up for like about a month and a half. We were going to all the concerts, handing out flyers. La Onda starts on this date, And I remember the first day, like just before the show started, the telephone lines start going crazy, right? And the guy that was working there says, something's going on because these telephone lines never light up like that. And we're like, orale. And we hadn't even started the show. It was like 10, 15 minutes before the show. And so I remember that we started off with Héroes del Silencio Entre Dos Tierras, the first song. And the lights start going crazy. And so we start landing, hey, can you play this song? Can you play it? And the guy's all like, wow, you guys got something here, man. This is crazy. And he goes, we never get requests. We never get this. He goes, no, never. He goes, this is good stuff. And then our DJ, our radio announcer, opens the mic. And, you're here, Entre Dos Tierras, da, 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 And the guy opens the mic and he's all like, La Onda 106.3 está al aire. Llámanos y pide una canción. And my brother and I look at each other like, he's gonna blow up right now, right? He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna do something. He's gonna go insane. Homeboy was like that the whole time. Yeah, bro. He lasted 3 weeks, and my brother goes, "I gotta make a change. This ain't gonna work. This guy's he doesn't have the energy." And I had done stuff on Power 106 on weekends, doing live call-ins and stuff in English. So my brother goes, I think I'm going to have to throw you on until we find somebody. And I'm all like, my Spanish is like horrendous. I can't do it. And he's all like, I think you're going to have to because this guy sucks. And then he goes, let's just give it a shot. Just do your best,
Push it.
Yeah. And so I go in there and I had no choice, but I had to start doing the bilingual thing. Because I would start introducing, and I'll never forget this. It was freaking hilarious. I introduced Soda Stereo, Primavera Cero, and I looked at it, and the way it was spelled, and I'm all like, aquí vamos con Soda Stereo, Primavera O, And I was like, my brother goes, it's Primavera Cero, dude. And I'm all like, and I look at him, I'm like, oh yeah, huh? And I was like, oh well, it is what it is.
But look at this, man. You guys came out with the mixture. I remember, man. I was like, this is good, man. These guys are, and I remember telling my partners, man, at the time, I was like, because we were just playing music, and you guys started the mixing, and so that look at how, I mean, you guys were already like, you came from the Power 106, station. You had the mixing mentality, like, man, we gotta do a mix show, boom, I mean, the first ever mix show. Fernando G and your brother Freedom.
Yeah, it was good times, bro. And I remember because my brother says you gotta listen to this guy. I go, well, how am I gonna listen to him? I go, if I'm on the air at the same time he's on. He goes, he's got this thing. He goes, he kind of sounds like Sluggo from K-Rock, and and then I go, well, record him for me so I can listen to him. And I remember he recorded you that night. And the following week he gives me the tape, and I start listening to you. And you had this unique style because you weren't really using your natural voice.
No.
You were kind of like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it was unique. Yeah.
And you know what? You hit it right in the nail, bro. Growing up right here in SoCal, listening to K-Rock, dude, I used to listen to Sluggo, right? And Jet the Fish and all these guys. So all that, dude. When I got into radio, automatically my mind was thinking that I was them. Yeah. So my voice was coming, trying to imitate them, and it came out. It's funny that dude, look at that.
That's wild, dude.
Crazy. And that was my mentality. I'm gonna become, the radio's disc jockeys from K-Rock, and I'm gonna put, because that I simulated rock en español. Who was that?
Yeah, damn, K-Rock. It sounded a lot like it. Yeah.
I'm like, and after a while, and like they say, once you start getting into the rhythm, then you find yourself, and you kind of mix all the influences. So, ahí está, bro, man. This is
wild, dude. That's awesome. Wow. So at this point, you're on La Cuna del Rock. You've done ritmo. How do you get into Super Estrella?
The Super Estrella, man, is funny because, we're about to go off the air. Ritmo was sold. They told us, El Dorado Communication nos dice, hey, man, we had a good run, but we're about to sell the company. We're like, whoa, we just started, man. The numbers are good. They got a bunch of advertisement. But the thing is that it's like real estate, right? An antenna. So from what I know is that the owner bought that radio station for like $10 million. And then KAs or KCOs or one of those radio stations came and they offered the owner like 80 million. Of course you're going to say,
take it. Yep.
Right? So they offer that kind of money. And, he put it in, he was a military guy, man. Güero, the owner. And he came in and he said, yeah, I'm selling the company, and, thank you for your service and thank you for, making this radio station what it is, but I'm selling it. And they were like, we're out the door, Adrian Lopez had already died, passed away, and Hector Rossetti came in and took over as program director for Ritmo. And we broke so many songs, it was just amazing. And then we were sad, man. We did una despedida at La Mirage. It was our last broadcast, and it was crazy, bro. I can imagine. By 7:00 was like, the place is tiny, right?
Small, yeah.
But the lines were long, dude, to get in. So people se quedó afuera. We started, the countdown to, go off the air, man. I think it was at midnight. We were about to go off the air, and people were crying, bro. People were, people were sad. They were like,
you get emotional, man. Shoot. Mine was a little public access radio on 106.3, and we lasted like about a year and a half almost.
Right.
And dude, I remember the last song that I played was Los Dinosaurios by Miguel Mateos, and dude, man, I literally turned off the microphone. I turned around, I started bawling. I'm like a little kid. They took away my toy,
It's more, bro. You get used to it. You fall in love with what you do. Super Estrella comes in and buys commercials in Ritmo. As they're going off the air, they come in and they buy Nace una nueva estrella en Los Angeles. Super Estrella 97.5. And it was Sylvia who did remember she was famous. I think she's still I think it was her.
Yeah, Villagrán.
She was very famous. So she was the one that recorded that commercial, and it was playing all day, dude, and Ritmo. So Ritmo was fading away, and like, we're about to go on the air. And we're like, man, it was crazy, bro. We're like, are we going to get hired for that? Nah, man. We were like sad, mad.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I had met Pato, right? The program director from Super Estrella, a couple of years back in a convention, Radio Música. I don't remember. Yeah. Right here in LAX, bro. I had met him through Marta show. Oh, déjate presento he was doing a show. He was just like us. He was doing something in San Jose called KBRG, Radio Pirata. And then he had a DJ mixing, DJ Pirata. So he was more similar to he was a combination of us. Right, like your show, our show from La Cuna del Rock. So when I met him, and I go, hey, man, so you're doing, he said, Lafitte was a good friend of him. He's still a good friend of him. Me lo presento también. And then I found out, I'm like, oh, it's Pato. And I'm like, Pato, it sounds familiar, man. And I'm like, he goes to Grand Avenue. Con la feet takes him to Grand Avenue. After Ritmo goes off the air, I go back to play. And he introduced me to Pato again. And I'm like, hey, man, oh, so you're Pato. Yeah, man. I'm, you know, the program, the music director for Super Estrella. And I'm like, and I want to ask him, hey, man, do you need anybody,
Right.
The first DJ that was hired from Ritmo, and the only DJ that was hired at the beginning was Irma Covarrubias.
Wow. I
From
didn't know
all
that,
the
man.
DJs, yeah, man.
Wow.
Irma Covarrubias was the only DJ from Ritmo that was hired, and Jerry Cardozo was hired as an editor
Production. Yeah.
for production
Yeah.
for commercials. So they were the only twos that were hired, and we're like, oh man, that's it. We're gonna have to start knocking doors. And
Right.
so he's like, yeah, well, I'm thinking, hey Alex, I'm thinking of doing a mix show. But he gave me a like that, and I'm like, I'm here, man. You need me. I'm playing here, but I can go on DJ. Okay, I'll be in touch. Let me give you my number. Pero pasó un mes. I think it was like a month, and I'm like, it's not gonna happen. He's probably going to clubs and seeing all the DJs. You have to, right? He was doing his research, man. And you had Fernando G, you had all kinds of DJs, man. I mean, great DJs.
All of them.
Right? And then I think it was a month. He me llama, and I'm like, oh, this is it, man. He calls me in, and he offered me, a 2-day mix show, Friday and Saturday. And he's like, he got another DJ, Hendrik. One of the, hablando de pioneros,
Yeah.
He started Club Ola, bro, and I already had met, DJ Hendrik because he went over there to La Cama and, played a couple of times, and he was part of La Cama too. And it was cool, man. We got together, and DJ Eduardo came in the picture, and DJ Khalil. And then after that, Pato's like, yeah, oh man, you know what? Get all the DJs, start, you hire them, let me know. So I started calling up, cats in them. Then after a while, it was like, all right, we started with Club Super Estrella, and I was like, this is cool. And I was so nervous, bro. Pato was there. Right. He helped me. ¿Qué tal? Club Super Estrella, man. in English, and he's like, no, man, Spanish. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. My brain was thinking, you know how it is. It's so difficult, man.
You're thinking in English and trying to translate in Spanish. Yeah.
It's difficult, man. And now, my wife is Brazilian, so I'm trilingual
now.
Man, Portuguese, Brazil, Portuguese, English, and Spanish. And I'm like, But anyways, that was the first experience right there with Pato was in the first day, and boom, the weekend came in, and duré como 3 months, 4 months. I don't even remember how many months on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And then after that, Pato's like, hey man, you know what? I don't have the 7 to 12 shift. The radio disc jockey. I'm like, really? He's like, I think I'm gonna give you a chance, bro. So he gave me the spot, bro. 7 to 12.
That's awesome.
And I was there for years, bro.
Yeah. Well, when you guys started the mix show, I was trying to get in Super Estrella. Obviously, La Onda had gone off also. We had stopped doing it, and I'm knocking on doors. I try to set something up. I talked to Heftels at the K Love to see about doing a mix show, and they were like, yeah, no, that's really not our cup of tea. We're not really thinking about that. And I'm knocking on doors, same thing like you. And I was sending demos to Pato, and it took me a year, literally from I was sending like every 2 to 3 weeks. I would send a demo, boom, hey, and I would say, hey, is Pato here? And they're like, yeah, but he's in a meeting. Oh, he's not available. Oh, he's not in the office. Oh, he can't right now. And they say always for like a year, dude. And I'd be coming in, dropping off demos. And I'll never forget the day. I had just gotten to the golf course. We were going to play golf with my friend. And my cell phone rings. Boom. And I'm all like, who the hell is this? And I was about to hang up. I was about to just turn it off because we were about to play golf. I said, let me see who it is. And he's all, Fernando. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, hey, this is Pato from Super Estrella. I dropped everything. Boom. I was like, hey, man, what's going on? This and that. He goes, hey, man, do you have time to meet tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, where? What do you want to meet? And this and that. We met at a restaurant over there in Hollywood. I think it was I forget what it was. It was this Mexican restaurant in Hollywood somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was funny because when I got there, he said, we're going to be making some changes. We're going to be making some adjustments. He goes, but I've been listening to your demos. And he goes, I think we might be able to use you on the morning show. But what I want to do is I want to bring you in. We'll start you off on overnights, get you used to the system. And then we'll maybe make some adjustments. And then we'll see. Maybe we can throw you in the mornings. And this is not. So I'm all excited. I'm like, a morning show. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So I'm like, I remember I called my Dad, I got hired at Super Estrella and this and that. He's all excited. All right, good, mijo, go kick ass and this and that, blah, blah. All right. But it didn't happen. It didn't flourish that way. I ended up doing overnights for, I think, I got there in 97 and I left in 99. And that's when I met you because I was coming in after you.
Yes.
And that's when I really got to get to know you. And you know me, dude. I mean, I was always un poquito lurias, you know? I mean, I was a little out there and stuff. But
let's call it Jerry Delis.
Right? Remember that?
I never knew about Jerry's. You were the one that introduced me to that, man. I was like, what is that? Oh, don't worry, bro.
Ooh, that was good, right? Yeah, dude. And dude. And I just remember because I didn't know you as a person. I just knew you as the personality, the on-air personality. And I have to say, dude, that I gained a lot of respect for you real quick because you were just a class act. And like I say, my style was different. I was a little out there, bien hablador and all that stuff. But you were just cool, calm, collective, but freaking funny as hell. And that energy, that positive vibe that you projected, not just on air, but off air. You just always had that. And I think that that's definitely what gave you your success because you were just this all-around likable guy. Who you were on air was the same person that you were on off air. You were just a cool guy, you know what I mean? And I gotta tell you, man, respetos, bro, because you did a lot of great things, man, and a lot of people love you for it, and you brought up a lot of spirits, man. I remember talking to listeners after you would get off and stuff, and they would be telling me about you, man. Oh no, that guy, he gets me, man. He lifts up my spirits when I'm having a shitty day, you know, he brings it up and this and that. And so overnights we didn't talk as much. I didn't, it was only like 2 breaks or something that I did an hour. And but you guys obviously had a little more time, so you had that personality that just projected puro positivismo, just pure raw energy that was very positive, and much respect for that.
Yeah. No, the same thing, man. Meeting you, bro, and we got to meet, man, in Super Estrella, and from there, we became colegas and friends, and we had so much fun, man. It was so much fun. Tanto que, I used to stay like an hour, just to mess around, chit chat, and eat. Imagine that. I used to, order so much.
Man, Jerry's was, man. I discovered Jerry's Deli when I was at Power 106, thanks to Frank Lozano, who was one of my on-air mentors, and he took me there for the first time. And I'll never forget the chef chopped salad with the freaking the bagel chips, man, with the ranch dressing. Oh, dude. The fresh squeezed orange juice and the burgers and the sandwiches, the pastrami. There you go. Remember that?
I remember that because I remember saying, man, I never ate there before. Otherwise, I'm going to get this. And I'm like, ooh, this is good, man. And after a while, I was craving that.
Yeah.
And, every time I go, I don't know if it's still around. I know there was one in Marina del Rey.
Yeah, it's still there.
I got to get
over in Studio City.
Right. Nah, man. Amazing times, bro. Amazing times. We have been part of this amazing entertainment, el rock en español, pop en español, became what it is. We were part of it. And, it's a blessing, bro.
It was fun.
Let me go to the restroom right now, really quick.
Okay. Dale. Dale.
That's the bladder. That's the bladder right there.
That's it, man. Gotta
Whew.
relieve yourself, dude. When you gotta go, you
Oh
gotta go. All
man.
right, so we'll do an edit right there. We'll pick it up from here. So now let's get into today. All right, so I'll start kind of like I'll count it down, and then that way I can
Right.
edit it. Okay, so we're going 3, 2. All right, bro. So we flash back a little bit, but now let's get into like serious talk, serious personal business here of what's going on with your life right now. And instead of me describing what's happening, I'd like to you to just tell us what is going on with your life and what you're having to deal with today.
Oh man, I'm right now. Sometimes I wake up and I say, "Is it real? Is it happening to me?" I never knew that I was. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody, nobody can see the future, man.
Mm.
In June, what was it? June 8th, I got diagnosed with colon cancer. Colorectal cancer is the right terminology for my situation. And I went to the ER, man, because a year ago, it must have been a couple of months that I was already, having blood in my stool.
Mm.
So I went to my primary doctor and I told him, hey, I'm scared. What's going on? So the primary doctor told me, hey, man, I think it's a hemorrhoids.
Mm.
They didn't even check me. They didn't even, no exam, no nothing. Right. And I'm like, okay, all right, you're the doctor. So um, a month, 2 months passed by, 3 months. And then suddenly I woke up one day and I started urinating blood. And I was like, oh, God, this is sick. I got scared, bro. And I told my wife, and then she's like, oh, you got to go to the ER. Boom. I go to the ER. I had a bad infection. I mean, pain was incredible, man. And then the doctor said, I want to do a CT scan. Do you want to do a CT scan? I'm like, yeah, of course. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was getting vertigos. I was getting dizzy. I was weak.
Mm.
I went from 175 to 144.
Wow.
I mean, I lost a lot of weight.
Wow.
And so the CT scan came back. He pulled me over and he's like, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have cancer. And I'm like, what? 48 years, right? I'm 48 years old.
Damn.
Never stepped into a hospital, bro. And I was like in shock. I was like, whoa. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yes. You have cancer and, you're going to have to stay. And I'm like, holy moly. I just started bawling, man. I started crying for like an hour. My wife was calling me and I couldn't answer, bro. I couldn't talk in the phone. And I'm like, so finally I had to, I called her and I told her, hey, you know what? They told me that I have cancer. Boom. I was like, and I have to stay and I have to, and then everything just, started from like there, like like 7 days at the hospital. And, they started telling me that they didn't know what it was.
Mm.
They knew it was cancer and it was a tumor in my colon. And it was crazy because, the doctors were telling me, one doctor would tell me, no, it's not colon cancer. It's ulcer colitis or ulcer colitis.
Wow.
And one doctor was like, no, it is cancer. So I was like, man, this is crazy.
They're contradicting each other, man. That
like,
sucks. That puts
I'm
more stress
scared.
on you. It's like, pues, ¿qué chingados
Yeah.
es? Which one is it? It's like, what the hell?
And I'm like, holy moly, I'm scared. What's going to happen? Because the first thing crosses your mind is you're going to die. Man.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. You're like, oh, man, your kids, your family, you start going on, your mind just gets crazy, bro, with all these thoughts, bro. So then and after a while, I'm like, man, we did research, got out of that hospital. They were hard on me. They didn't want to let me go. And then, I jumped from hospital. And then finally I get a colonoscopy. They, because my tumor was already 99%
Wow.
closed. So I couldn't go to the restroom.
Wow.
It was that bad, man. I was like, holy. So they they told me, no, you got to get a surgery now. We got to, shut down your colon, and you're going to have to, have a little bag. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. So everything, boom, 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 boom. And then after a while, I was like, man, I gotta, what do I do? My family was going crazy trying to find out what was the perfect hospital for me. My wife was calling the insurance and trying to get me into City of Hope. And man, it was crazy for 2 months, bro. I went from stage 3. And those 2 months, it went from stage 3, and then it jumped to stage B and C. So close to 4. And I'm like, because it invaded my bladder, bro. And then it started, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. So now I'm in good hands. I'm going for my 6th chemo this Friday. So it's crazy, man. I mean, just, being in this situation. And
yeah. When I heard about it, brother, I got to tell you, you and I had not talked in years. I had not seen you. I have not, nothing. I don't even think I was following you on social media. Nothing. It was just kind of like, okay. And then a friend of ours, Freddie Morales, does a post and says, "Oh, I'm saddened to hear this news," and blah blah blah. And I started reading it, and my heart sank, dude.
Man.
It sank immediately. I was just like, no. I was like, this guy, he's too cool, man. He can't be going through this. He's one of the nicest guys. And I immediately, started searching for you. And then he had the link to your Facebook. Right. And I started following you there. And then I followed you on Instagram. And I started sending you messages. He's probably not going to respond. I'm sure a lot of people are reaching out to him. But, bro, I immediately started praying for you, man. I just started, asking God to take care of you, to get you through this. And then I start seeing you post videos. I start seeing you getting into action, being the Alex Tercero that I know, the mero pachanguero, siempre positivo, pase lo que pase. And you start talking about a movement that you want to create awareness about this situation and how, we need to be screened and we need to be tested and stuff. And to me, I said, this guy knows what he has to do, If anything's going to happen, he's going to make sure he makes his mark by doing something good for others, And that's always been you. You've always wanted to do good for others from as long as I've known you. And I admire that so much about you, bro, because considering the tremendous pressure that you're under right now, the tremendous stress, the tremendous anxiety of what you're having to live with, you're still projecting your positive energy in such a positive way to help others, dude. And that's just something that is so commendable, brother. Y te admiro mucho por eso, bro. You're doing excellent by doing that. I'm telling you, man, I told you over the phone, that attitude that you have, that positivismo, that positive energy is what's going to help you, brother. I highly believe that.
Yes. And you know what? Being positive and always trying to, be in a good mood and, surround yourself by, your loved ones and do the things that you like, que te hagan feliz, that makes you happy. One of the things that makes me happy is, convivir con my old colleagues, así como tú, and I've been doing, some IG lives and it's amazing, bro. I mean, I'm blessed to have you guys help me spread the word and awareness, bro, because prevention is key, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, prevention is key. I mean, I'm 48 years old, Latino, hard-headed,
Como Latinos, a lot of us, like I know, and I've fallen into this sometimes where I say, I'm in pain or something's bothering me, and I'll say, I'll just wait a week, if maybe it'll go away, it'll go away, and I don't want to go to the doctors. I'm afraid he's gonna tell me, hey, you got this and this, pero we gotta get that out of our mentality, like my father, he also passed from cancer. Many years ago, he got prostate cancer. And he was able to get through that. He became into a complete remission. Later on down the line, unfortunately, it came back in a different form. And that's what finally took him. However, when that happened to him, when I went to my doctor and I told her, she asked, like they say, el historial, tell us about your family history and this and that. And I told her, my grandfather died of secondhand smoke, cancer. My aunt died of cancer also, and then my father had it. And then she says, okay, because of that history, she goes, as soon as you turn 50, I need you to come in every 6 months. She goes, right now we're going to do the annual checkup, and we're going to start checking you out. This was like, when I was, 40 years old and stuff. And she
Right.
goes, but at 50, she goes, I need you coming in every 6 months. She goes, we want to make sure that we prevent anything and everything. And I was like, let's do it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because, I don't like doing it because ya sabes que te tienen que picar, ya sabes dónde. Lo que tú decías en aquel tiempo.
Oh,
Pícate. And I'm like,
can you bring a
yeah,
little, bring the smallest guy or the smallest doctor you have?
right? Más pequeño. But you know what? It's what we gotta do, and that's the only way we could prevent it. I mean, like people like you and I that have kids and stuff. It's not just about ourselves, and we can't be selfish. We got to think about the others that depend on us, and it's so important. That's why for me, I mean, I told you, I said I want to support you in every which way possible with
Thank
this
you, brother.
mission that you're doing. Now you got a website, alextercero.com. Tell us about the
Yeah.
website. Tell us how people can help you in your fight and how they can help others.
Man, I have an amazing team, the amigos, bro, that are in back of all this, man. And Rebecca, Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing that Manny, they put together alextercero.com, and we have some great little details um, for cancer awareness and colon
Mm-hmm.
cancer and colorectal. It's crazy because you jump into this world and you're like, what is all this terminology, bro? You know, how do I navigate through all this,
Right.
system? First of all, the medical system, and then, the disease, bro. It's like,
Yeah.
man, everything's unknown because you obviously you're not sick, right?
Yeah.
So why should you care about that? I mean, it's somewhere over there. It's not me. And then when you get sick, you're like, holy moly. But the alextercero.com, it has a little bit of information. We're putting our videos that we've been doing. Um, and I want to thank all the people that have been, donated in the GoFundMe, de todo corazón, desde el primer minuto, brother. All the friends that we have made during, the years of radio, they just, like
Yeah.
you, bro. You called Rebecca, and I'm like, man, it's just amazing, bro. Amazing that I can, you know, try to give my experience, what I went through, and what I have, to maybe some people. And it's crazy, man, because a lot of people are sending me messages, bro. My husband is actually in this situation like you.
Yeah.
He has blood in his stool, and I'm scared now. And I'm like, that is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So I got family that have been going to, get their colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Uh, Friends, bro, me mandaron mensaje, hey, bro, because of you, I went yesterday because, I love my family. I love myself. I go, dude, if you don't do it for you, do it for your family, for your kids,
Exactly. Exactly. We,
go,
we we
go.
can't be
Yeah.
afraid to go get our checkups. You know what I mean? Because, like I say, we
No,
can't be selfish because a lot of times we say, "Nah, I don't want to go. Man, I don't want to. I don't want them doing this, and I don't want to feel that, and this, and that, and blah, 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 blah." But you're not gonna know fear until you're actually put in a situation that you don't know what the outcome is gonna be. So to prevent that having to reach that point of extreme fear, prevent it by going and getting checked, getting your colonoscopy, getting, everything
your
checked, your
school
prostate and
exam,
stuff, getting your blood work, because there's things,
everything.
getting CT scans, every now and then, because there's things that the blood work may not find, but, a CT scan may show something that you don't even know is there, so it's
Right.
very important. Um, for me right now, I think one of the more important things is obviously, you've been put also in a huge financial bind. I ask all my viewers that are here watching that, go to his website, alextercero.com. There is a link there to donate, to help Alex's cause and help him, get through this thing. We want you to beat this, brother, and I know that you're going to do great things with it. But we want to help you, just like you helped us put a smile on our face all those years that you were on radio, man. we want to help you as much as we can. So, and I know there's a lot of people that, because of COVID and stuff, and some people don't have jobs, and they're going through financial hardship. We get it. We totally understand. But you know what? Sharing the website, sharing the link, sharing these videos to inform other people is just as big a help as, donating a buck or two. You know what I mean? Like there's
Oh,
people that say, oh, you know what? If you buy a Starbucks, you can donate that and stuff like that. But maybe that Starbucks is all they're getting that day. You know what I mean?
right,
So if you
right.
can't financially support, that's great. But you know what? Share the link, man. Share the link, because if someone in your circle is gonna say, you know what? Let me do my part here. Um, to
Oh yeah,
me, like I say, you've been a big influence in my life when we first got into radio back in the Spanish days and Super Estrella. And now you're becoming another big influence in me with this whole situation you're living. And
man.
and I call you my brother because I feel you're my brother, and from a distance, pero siempre
Oh,
seremos
definitely.
hermanos de radio. And
Oh
that I'm
yeah.
here for you, brother. And anything that you need, I'm here to help. I'm here to push the cause and make it happen. So ya sabes, cuenta conmigo siempre, brother.
Yeah, no, I thank you for that, man. I mean, you send me messages, bro. Let me help you. What can I do? And I thank you for your time. I thank you for this opportunity to be here with you and spreading the word and spreading and giving our stories, bro. The DJs and the radio DJ years and whatnot, man. I mean, that's beautiful, man. All that is part of who we are, bro.
Yep.
Who you are, how we come together, as brothers and as entertainers, and I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to have you guys, in my life and giving me a chance to, you know, uh, I don't know, try to spread the word and try to get the people to have have a chance to fight, any type of
Yeah.
disease, not only
Create
cancer.
knowledge, man. Create knowledge about this, because you also went through a lot of issues with, like you said, the medical system, where they were pulling you back and forth, and then they wanted to keep you there in a hospital that was not gonna take care of you in the right way. And I mean, it became a nightmare for you, bro. A nightmare.
Nightmare, bro. The thing is that, again, you don't know who. I mean, you think that a doctor is going to cure everything, right? I mean, he knows everything, and he can do a surgery. For example, the doctor that's my doctors right now, I told him the story. I'm like, hey, they wanted to do surgery the next week. When I fell into the ER and
Mm-hmm.
they kept me for things like, what would have happened if they would have done surgery on you? You would have been gone. Because they, um, you don't know, bro.
Yeah.
You After a while, I was like, so what do you do? A friend of mine is like, hey, man, you got to get an oncologist. What is an oncologist? And I was like, okay. So we looked up on, okay, is the person that's going to, do the surgery specialist for cancer. And my situation was a little bit more complicated, is a little bit more complicated because it's colon cancer and colorectal cancer. Colorectal cancer it's more complicated because it's less, from what they told me, it's less, they have less colon to do surgery. And and it's too close to your anus.
Right.
And so it's that situation where they, you can probably have a colostomy or colonoscopy, the bag for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it invaded my bladder. So I think my bladder is going to go away. They're trying to see if my urologist, another word that oh, you got to see a urologist. And I'm like, man, what is a urologist? Specializes in everything that has to do with bladder, prostate. And I'm like, oh my God, man. So it's a lot to take in, man, and still deal with the system of medical and, so you gotta do your research. You gotta
Yeah.
advocate for yourself, bro. You gotta get yourself in the right hands. That's the correct thing to do. Get yourself in the right hands, because I've heard many stories, bro, that unfortunately they're not here to tell their story, but they were on the wrong hands, bro. And there's good doctors and there's bad doctors, and you gotta if you can't advocate for yourself because you're under stress and all that, have family members, friends, bro, to fight for you and take you to
That's
the
it.
right.
Push, push, push. And now there's a lot of other technologies and stuff, science and everything, if you get yourself checked and you find it early enough, there's new ways, immunotherapy, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do that's less invasive, that's not as hardcore as chemo and stuff
Yeah,
like that, but only if you find it early. Because if
exactly.
you find it too late, then you're gonna say, "Oh, let me try the immunotherapy." No, ni madres, ya pasaste esa etapa. You can't.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah,
late.
yeah. You're
Now you got to
yeah.
go through the hardcore stuff. So prevent
You
it,
have
prevent it, prevent it.
to protect it, man. Believe me, you don't want to be doing chemo. You don't want to be, thinking of when is this going to end. I have, people at the hospital, bro. They've been in chemo for 5 years.
Dang.
Imagine how that is. I'm barely, you know, 6 chemos in. We have Blanquito Man from King Chango who passed away.
Yeah.
He fought for 7 years, bro. Colon cancer.
That's wild.
7 years. And he passed away. Pau from Jarabe de Palo just
Jarabe
passed
Paula.
away.
Yeah,
So this is no joke, man. I mean,
it's not.
prevention is the key. If you find it, in the early stages, I forgot the terminology for the bolitas, that cancer is.
The
If you
polyps.
find it in that stage, the polyps,
Yeah.
that's it, man. Like you said, you have options. You can go the holistic way, the natural way. There's a lot of ways, bro.
Yeah.
And like you said, technology right now, bro, gives us the chance to educate ourselves, do the Google search on everything there is out there, bro. Would it work for me? I got so many people that have sent me recipes and doctors and me han recomendado hierberos and everything, man. And believe me, right now, I wish I could do all that and take everything in, but right now I'm in the chemo. I'm on my way to healing, and it's working. Thank God. The doctor already told me last week that the chemo's working on me, man. So I'm blessed, bro.
That's fucking great news, dude. I'm getting fucking
Yeah,
emotional right
yeah.
now from just hearing that, bro. That's fucking
I'm
good news, man. Seriously.
yes, man. I'm like, thank you so much. So I'm looking into a year, man. It's gonna be like a year long for me. After this, I go into radiation and chemo again, and it's gonna be a fight, bro. But
It's a long fight, man, pero tú
you
puedes,
know,
papá. Tú lo puedes vencer. You can do it, man. You can do
Sugar
it.
Ray Leonard.
Pues mira, dude, we've come to the end of this little thing I call the DJ to DJ podcast. Brother, gracias. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for agreeing to be on it. And again, we're gonna be pushing for you, man. We're gonna be supporting you in every which way.
Thank
And
you,
of
brother.
course, you that's watching, of course, Alex's links for his website, for the donation, and all his socials and everything are going to be in the description. Please, please, please be sure to follow him. Please click those links. Get more information. If you're going through anything like this, please don't be afraid to go to your doctor, get checked up, prevent it by getting detected early, man. Do all your labs that you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to do a physical every year, do it every year. If you have a history of cancer in your family, talk to your doctor. Let them know that this history is in your family and how you can prevent getting to that point. So, brother, you are an inspiration. God bless you. I'm praying for you each and every day. And we got to get together in person, bro. We gotta do some lunch or something real soon, man.
Thank you so much, Fernando G. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to help me and help whoever's out there fighting. And man, we're gonna be back, and we're gonna be mixing, and we're
gonna do something, man. We got to do some sort of reunion, man, and have a blast, man. Un gran pachangón, man.
There
Get
you
you up
go.
there on the stages again. That's freaking awesome, man. Well, again, thank you,
DJ,
bro.
DJ.
All right.
All right.
All right, you that's watching, don't forget, click that like button, hit the subscribe, and of course the bell, so that the next time I have another amazing talent like my brother Alex, you will be notified. Brother, God bless. Estamos en contact.
Thank you, buddy.